Good.
Another breakout, yeah, another breakout artist. I'm a straight up takedown artist. You're a shut up, sit down artist. At the back door, man, a shakedown artist. After this, you need a makeup artist. I'm listening, trying to figure where your heart is. I pick apart, trying to figure where the art is. Couple minutes, you'll be swimming in the darkness. Couple lyrics from the gang, that'll bang, bang, bang. Man, I'm looking all bang now. Couple minutes for the gang, spit slang so nang. Man, I'm looking at packed out. Come around with the big man vibe, get a 2-2 slap and a bigger man pat down. It's 4 beggars on a Bruckout thing, man, I shut down, slapping a nickel man background.
Alright guys, real quick video going over the setup that I am, the particular setup that I'm running whenever I do the run and gun videos that I post up for you guys. A lot of my time centered around firearms I spend training. I kind of try and veer towards that as a motivational for you guys to get out, and less as a reviewer per se, but different things that I do get, I will put them through their paces and give my opinion on them and kind of how they have run for me, and then kind of form videos based off of that. But this will be one of those videos, just kind of going over the setup that I've been running for quite a while now, how I like to run things and how it's worked for me and all of that. So as far as belt goes, I'm running a HSGI belt. Same guys that make these taco pouches. I'm running with the Cobra buckle, and then I also run with the little loop sling, or little steel loop here as well, for when I'm shooting long range off the tripod. I'll tie the sling off to it, tie it off to the front of the bipod, keep everything nice and steady, but in particular that's why that is there. So been a very solid belt as of thus far. Never really comes apart unless I want it to. Everything locks up nice and solid. I could probably do pull-ups from this guy, and I'm a pretty hefty dude, weigh about 250 pounds. And that could hold me up no problem. Very sturdy, very strong buckle on those. Pouches as well that I'm running, HSGI. I like these because they're pretty much a universal fit, easy to get mags in and out of them, and they don't just slip out and fall whenever you don't want them to. You can tension everything up just nicely with these bungee cords. I like running the rifle taco pouches in particular because I can use both my AK and AR mags in these and don't have to worry about running a second belt. I can keep everything the same with that as well. On over to the holster, it's a Safariland holster one. It's meant to run with a Glock 17 with a TLR1, the HL model, but I'm running a Glock 19 with this, and the tensioner is around the light, so everything locks in nice and tight, doesn't fall out, and it's got this suede padding in here to keep everything from slipping as well. Not that I really care, but it also keeps marring your finish up too much, except for the front of the slide where it ends at. You can even see on my gun that I carry in this, this is loaded, just so you guys are aware, it stays loaded. But you can see where the Cerakote is worn off. That's just from holstering and unholstering it, both in my concealed carry holster and that holster as well. So as far as that goes, pretty simple setup. Knife, this is actually a new addition. Just added this on today. Just an SOG Kiku knife, made by a famous Japanese knife maker. Very well done blade. I love this blade. It's the one that I'll probably ride on this now. I usually just carry a pocket knife, but I find myself getting it, leaving it somewhere, and then I'm always at the range and I need a knife at some point in time. So nice to run something on the belt as well. This one in particular is a fighting knife, but can use it for a utility knife as well if need be. And then I got it on my right side. That way I'm able to pull out and we'll quickly be able to run the knife like that as well. Tourniquet, just your generic tourniquet pouch. This was surplus, bought surplus. I carried ones like this, was issued these when I was in the military. Liked them a lot. Carries the tourniquet nice and securely. Easy to just pull the tag up, pull the tourniquet out. Everything comes out real nice and smooth and easy with that as well. So as far as the belt goes, that is that. So we'll go ahead and go on over to the rifle. Alright, as far as the AR goes, I'm running a, this is one that I had built. It's running with a Faxon Firearms, and this is unloaded, unlike the handgun was earlier. I do keep a magazine in it, but there's not one in the chamber. whenever I keep it in the safe generally. But I'll keep that mag in there that I can quickly just charge it. Go to town with it if I have to, but this generally stays in the safe. I have a 300 blackout, which there's a review on my page already of that, that I will keep with a suppressor with subsonic expanding ammunition in it as well. It'll be 5-round subs, and then the rest will be supers behind those. That way I'm not blowing people's eardrums out. But video's not about that, about this. So starting from the back to going to the front, I'm running with a SV-A3 brace. This is their collapsible model brace. Very sturdy, very solid brace. Held on by just a regular old mil-spec buffer tube, and then Aero Precision parts kit is what's running with the lower with a Magpul QD rear sling swivel, in case I wanted to run single point for whatever reason. Hate single point, by the way. Love 2-point slings. They're better than a single point in every way. So moving on forward, just a regular old mil-spec charging handle. Say what you want about charging handles, as long as you get a good one from a quality manufacturer. This one is made by CMMG, I believe. But as long as you get one from a good quality manufacturer, you're not going to really have many issues with it. Where I have run into issues, and I have broke a whole bunch of them, is if I do any kind of extended latch. And then if I do like try and kickstart it, if the action gets stuck closed. I've broken several of them like that. And then these do eventually wear out, but they're easy to just swap around and change out if you got new ones. And I do have spares that I keep with me when I go to the range as well, in case one of these does break, so I don't have to worry about that. But sights, I'm running Imbus Pro backup sights. Good to have a good pair of buoys whenever you're running with your red dot. So it's just rear and front. Magpul Pro. They're the steel ones, not the polymer ones for this guy. Bolt carrier group, Abe Surplus, just their melanite finish bolt carrier group, real slick, real smooth. I wipe the outside of it down, that way it's not transferring carbon to the inside of my vehicle or anywhere else, not getting it on clothes or anything like that that I don't want to. So I go ahead and I'll wipe this part off of it, but generally the inside of the gun I don't really clean it a whole lot, not really much of a need to. Just add lubricant and you'll be good to run it for a pretty good while. Moving on down to the lower portion of it, like I said before, it's just running an Aero Precision lower parts kit, so regular old stock safety. Don't really care for all the fancy gadgets on the other side. I like to keep my gun as generic as I can and train with it like that. That way if the time ever came and I had to pick up someone else's rifle, I'd be able to pick it up and just run it from muscle memory like before. The way I see it, if I run without ambidextrous safety, the guys that are running ambidextrous safeties and used to engaging from this side, they won't be able to as easily transfer back to this stock style rifle as I will be able to go pick up one of theirs and run it just the same, because all the controls are still in the same spot, just as extras added onto it. Running a CMC trigger. This is their single stage. It's a 3.5 pound trigger. Very crisp trigger, just breaks like glass. Very nice trigger. Not quite a Geissele. Geissele is still a pretty superior trigger, but one I had laying around, so I ended up throwing it in here and then have just kept it. We'll eventually change it out with a Geissele, but for now, stays like that. Aero Precision lower receiver as well, a little A mark right there. And upper receiver is one that I had, a spare that I had laying around. I actually don't remember the manufacturer for this upper. It might be a spare Palmetto I had laying around. I don't really remember, but that's that. When I dug it out, it was painted tan already and everything as well, so all I have is Ankle Harvey forging markings on the side as well. But been a solid upper receiver. Worked pretty well. I've burnt a barrel out and put a new one in as well since I had initially built this, and I've only had it built since I think December of last year, November, December, sometime like that. So it ain't been live very long, and I already killed a barrel and put a new one in it, so there's always that. Barrel, the other one was a Faxon 11.5 inch barrel, new one, same barrel. It's a Faxon Firearms 11.5 inch barrel. These are very accurate barrels, especially being as a pencil barrel. Even when it heats up, due to the shortness of it, it's still rather rigid. Even with the pencil profile, with it heating up, I don't get a whole lot of movement like I do with the longer 14.5 or 16 inch barrels. One of the special things that I really liked about these, and you can actually see it there, is this running a mid-length gas system on this. So really big gas port. I think it's a 0.0 or 0.10 size gas port. I think the Daniel Defense Mark 18, which is known for being really overgassed, is like 0.07 something. So it's got a significantly bigger gas port than the Daniel Defenses are running. But with that short of a dwell time, you have to have that much gas moving backwards in order to be able to cycle this action from where the bullet passes it and actually leaves the muzzle. So they did that, and it works really well. I've had, with the other barrel, I've had 0 malfunctions with it that weren't induced in our training, because we use the funky stick to induce malfunctions. But I've had 0 gun-related malfunctions. I've had ammo-related fail to fire. The good primer strike, we put the round back in, tried again, still didn't go off. It was ammunition related, so but nothing gun related malfunction wise. So it's run pretty much 100% reliability across the board as that's concerned. Rail that I'm running, ALG Defense Rail. These guys make real solid rails, same company as Geissele. Rail has absolutely no shift in it, no movement, real solid rail. Real easy to install, bolts on real nice. You got to use their proprietary wrench, but I can kind of see why they do that, because if they included a wrench with every single handguard, they'd have to up the price on that handguard. Where if you wanted to buy a bunch of their handguards, you can just buy one wrench and not have to buy a new wrench every time you do it. So it saves you money in that aspect for the guys who are a little bit more on a budget as far as building a gun is concerned, but you still want to go to a really rock solid rail. Optic, it's a Holosun 403C. It's their solar powered one. Now this does actually work off light from inside a room as well as sunlight. And then when it no longer detects enough light to power the optic, it'll actually switch to a I think it goes directly to the 5 setting in here, which is plenty bright for in a room at night. Even when you turn the light on, still see that dot whenever I turn this bright light on. All right, moving on forward to the light. So I've actually had different lights set up on this before. I had the Streamlight HLX, which is the 1000 lumen version of this. I have no idea why they keep trying to do that design, but there is an actual flaw in the way the light has been manufactured. So on the ProTac 1 and 2, there's a spring on each side on the tail cap and on the front end of it. That way it keeps a constant connection point in the batteries whenever the batteries are shifting back and forth from the rearward movement of the recoil. Well, the HLX model didn't have that front one, so that shift in the batteries from the recoil causes it to lose connection, flicker, or completely shut off. And then you have to reactuate the light after that. Do not recommend the HLX lights. They suck royally. Go ahead and just stick with the, I think this is 620 or 650 lumen. Light's really bright, very good light. I actually have 2 of these exact models. I got one set up on my AK and the other one on this. So one of my AK has been on there right next to the brake, taking the brunt of that blast, taking it like a champ, keeps right on ticking. So Stream lights are a great value, great for a tough light. Comes with a tail switch, everything you need to get it started. Big at any mount, but you can buy your favorite key monitor and lock accessories for it. Lastly, BCM parts, foreign parts, so BCM rail covers, grip, and then a Magpul, the rubberized MOE Plus, and then of course advanced armament in order to be able to run my can when need be. So it'll actually mount on just like that. Nice solid can. Gun sounds great suppressed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you do have any questions, post them down in the comment section below. And until next time, happy shooting.
I'm a straight up breakout. Worldwide shut down, I'm a breakout. Big moves, big G's, I'm a breakout. More tracks, more racks for the breakout. More food, none are looking like